welcome back to another episode of my podcast. How are you guys doing? Oh my god, why has this week gone by way too fast for my brain to comprehend? Like, time is moving by way too quickly, and my brain and my body cannot catch up. Like, I'm tired, I'm ready for a break, and I'm ready for my half term to begin. Like now. And as you guys would be able to tell by the name of this podcast, I have changed the name of the podcast from Happy Host to Peace and Harmony, just because Peace and Harmony kind of fits with my sort of like vibe that I go for. You know, I'm trying to be more chill, more peaceful, more zen. And obviously my name's Harmony, fucking duh. So it kind of makes more sense. But yeah, I hope you guys like that name. Please give me feedback if you want to. Let me know what you think. But in this episode, I was trying to think of like an episode that I was coming up with and of like different themes for this episode. I have so many, and I've spoken to my friends about it, and I've kind of put it under one umbrella term. Are you ready? Summertime sadness. Yes, it's the Lana Del Rey song. No, I'm not going to be singing the Lana Del Rey song, even though I do have a beautiful voice. Um, but I kind of wanted to talk about the negative side of summer and how the summers, I love the summer. I was born for the summer, but sometimes the summer can make me feel really shit, and I kind of wanted to talk about that because I feel like it's not spoken about enough. So let's just fucking get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is like body dysmorphia and body image problems that always come up every single summer. Now I'm on my like healthcare and fitness journey. Okay, I have lost some weight. I've lost like a stone and a half. So I'm on the right track. But summer just makes me feel so insecure, and I know I'm not the only person when I say this, because summer just makes me feel so shit about my body. And it sucks because like I'm a very body positive person. I think everyone's beautiful in their own ways. But when it comes to summer, I'm like, girl, you fucking ugly. Like to myself, obviously. And I think that it's just like so overlooked because especially if you have like the stereotypical like body that is loved in the media, you know, if you're skinny, you're tall, you got hips, big bum, big boobs, you know, you can feel insecure, but like you won't feel as like socially pressured to be insecure and to change yourself. But like I feel so socially pressured into changing the way that I look for other people that sometimes when I go to the gym or like I wake up and I'm like, do I want to go to the gym? I'm like, am I even doing this for myself anymore? Or am I doing this for the satisfaction of other people? Because this is what they want to see when they walk down the street. You know, if I want to post a picture of myself on Instagram, they want to see someone who's skinny and who's tall, not me, who's the complete opposite of that, you know, fat and short. So I don't know. Summer just makes me feel so insecure about myself. And like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I know like a lot of people struggle with this because it's not spoken about enough. Like, feeling insecure about the way you look in the summer is like so unheard of, I feel like, because everyone talks about having seasonal depression and how it comes out in the winter. I get seasonal depression in the summer, despite me loving the summer. I just think I'm so depressed in the summer because, you know, people are walking around with their bellies out and like in shorts, and I'm here in jeans and a baggy t-shirt because I'm insecure about myself, and it makes me look like a fucking idiot because who wears jeans and a baggy t-shirt in 30-degree weather? But that's just what happens, okay? And I've been trying to make myself feel less shit this summer, and one of the ways that I have been doing that is like honestly just not giving a fuck about what other people think. And like I know that's so cliche to say and be like, oh yeah, just don't care about what other people think. But it's not that easy, obviously I get that. But at the same time, you just gotta think about who actually gives a fuck if I'm walking around with shorts on and I've got thicker thighs. Who is gonna stop me in the street and say you can't wear them? Fucking no one. And if they do, just douche, punch them right in the fucking face, bruv. What are they gonna do? You know what I mean? It's trying to get into that headspace of like, because 2023 is, dare I say so, woke. Ew, the fact that I said woke is actually disgusting. But the fact that it is so woke and like body positive, people don't actually care. So I feel like getting yourself into that headspace of like, oh, it's okay if I look like this, then it makes you feel a little bit better. But I think the other thing as well is genuinely doing something about it. Like, if you actually have body issues, this is gonna make me sound like such a bitch. I'm actually gonna sound like a bitch. If you genuinely have body issues and you like hate the way you look, there are things that you can do to help that. And I think like I was guilty of this for way too long. I would complain about the way I look and then do absolutely fucking nothing about it. But whose fucking problem is that? Yours. You know what I mean? Whose problem was that? It was my problem. That was my issue. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, if you're sitting there in the summer thinking, oh, I've gained so much weight and I hate the way I look, go on a fucking walk then. Honestly. Because the more you complain about being in a certain physical or mental, whatever shape or form, you know, if you don't help yourself, you're never going to get out of it. Like, I've come to the realization that, you know, when people say I don't have the motivation to do things, like, I get that, but at the same time, it's like the motivation ain't just going to come and get you in the ass. You're just going to have to end up doing it. Like, my room was messy for like a week, and my parents would come in here and be like, are you gonna tidy? And I'd be like, yeah, I just don't have the motivation right now. And then one day I was like, cool, I've been saying that for a week and I still don't have the fucking motivation. So let me just get up and do it, because the motivation is never gonna come. And I think if you do feel insecure, like physically or whatever, like about your skin or about your body, you know, there are things that you can do to help you feel a little bit less shitty. So, you know, I know that a bunch of my friends join the gym to like get in more shape to make them feel more confident about themselves, because otherwise we're just never gonna do anything about it, and it's kind of just like, why the fuck are we complaining for then? But yeah, I think that if you do, like, summer's just a shit time because everyone's got their bodies out, and if you genuinely do feel insecure, then, you know, it sucks because I get how you feel, but at the same time, we gotta actually try and do something about it, otherwise nothing's ever gonna change, and then we're just gonna constantly be in a state of feeling like shit. So my advice, if you do feel insecure, is that you either need to get in the headspace of I actually don't give a fuck, or you need to get in the headspace of I'm gonna change. You know, like before with my weight, I used to just be like, I don't give a fuck about what people think, but now it's like, okay, but I care about what I think. So now I'm gonna make the physical changes to make myself feel less insecure about the way I look. And once I got into that headspace, it was so much easier for, like, I'm slowly becoming less and less insecure. I'm still insecure, but like less insecure for the summer, which is perfect timing because I'm going on holiday, and I want to look good on my holiday and I want to feel good. You know, looking good and feeling good are just a balance. You know what I mean? You can look absolutely great but feel shit about yourself, and then what's the point of looking good? You know what I mean? Confidence is all about faking it. Like, literally, you can feel like garbage, but as long as you look confident, you're absolutely fine. So, even if you are insecure this summer and you catch yourself slipping and feeling insecure, just remember that no one's gonna know if you're lying about being confident. Yeah, and eventually you will actually start thinking that way, which is the best part about it, because you're kind of like tricking your brain into believing a certain thing, which is really great if I do say so myself. So let's move on to the next subject. So the next thing that I want to talk about is feeling like garbage. And like, I don't mean garbage physically, I mean mentally garbage and pooped out. Like, I feel so defeated by this academic year and by everything that happened in school, that I'm ready for it to be over. And like, the thing that I hate about summer is that I don't know if anyone else does this, but I set myself so many goals in the summer that if I don't meet them, I literally feel like I'm a failure, and like I feel like I've accomplished nothing, and that's what makes me feel like shit, because I can accomplish a lot of little things and not acknowledge them. But then the minute I don't reach one big goal, it's like, oh, I failed at this day, or I failed at this week. You know, like this week I've really been focusing on my school production that's going on and my music coursework. And because I haven't been going to the gym as much because I've been focusing on my schoolwork, it's like, oh, you're a failure because you haven't been going to the gym, but you want to lose weight, you're a fucking failure. When really it's like, hold on, you know, I've accomplished a bunch of little things though. I tidied my room. I've been recording the podcast stuff. I've been helping out with my school production. I've been doing my coursework. I've been keeping on top of my schoolwork. So it's like, I feel like in the summer, so many unrealistic goals are set. And it's just shit when you don't accomplish them. Like, I know, especially with like New Year's and stuff like that, New Year's is such a massive time to make New Year's resolutions. And then you see when people don't reach their goals, everyone feels like garbage. And it's just like, why set such unrealistic things if they're never gonna happen? And like, my main kind of point of this is kind of like the relationship that I have with failure is so negative, because I think of failure as like the worst possible thing that could ever happen, instead of thinking about it as like an opportunity to grow. Like, okay, let me give you some like backstory. In year 10, when I was doing my music GCSE, I wanted to learn the piano and I failed miserably. I could not learn this fucking piano to save my life. So my music teacher introduced me to music technology instead, and I flourished, and now I study it as a level 3 and I'm going to do it as my career. I thought that I was so worthless because I failed at this one thing, that instead of thinking about it as an opportunity to grow, I just saw it as like okay, well, fuck music then, I don't care anymore. And that headspace always comes around for me in the summertime, because it's just like, I always feel like if I fail at something, I'm just a shit person and like I just can't do anything and that I'm not smart. And it always comes around in summer, because it's like, if I don't drink enough water, then I'm treating my body like shit because I'm dehydrated. If I don't eat good, if I don't sleep good, if I don't smell good. Speaking of smell, I bought myself some new perfume today. Very excited about if that's come in the mail. But anyways, getting sidetracked. But I think summer is such like a time where, because it's hot and like the summer holidays is such like a short period of time as well, so I feel like everything just feels rushed in the summer. And I think if we don't meet these goals in this 6-week period, it's kind of like, well, then what was the point of me having summer holidays in the first place? And I know that there's going to be people in this headspace at the moment, and it's just like, it just is draining, is it not? Like, how draining is that, to be putting yourself down over not accomplishing a goal, when really you've never accomplished the goal before, which is why you set it, which is what I try and remind myself. Because like, when it comes to losing weight and going to the gym, I've never gone to the gym before until this year. So when I set myself goals to go 3 times a week, it's like, okay, but you gotta understand that you've never been before, so you gotta be nice on yourself. But then I say these things and then I just never do them for myself, and then I feel like garbage. So if you do feel like you're in that headspace of, oh, I feel a little bit shit because I haven't met this goal, remember that a goal is not like the be all or end all. It's just something that you've put in place for yourself. It's not Bible, it's not the rules, it's not the regulations. It's just something that you set yourself, and you will reach it in your own time. Sometimes small increments are good, and sometimes failure is good. you know Working on my relationship with failure has been actually such a positive thing for me. And that's because, like, without failure, there's no room to grow. And without room to grow, you're never going to accomplish anything new. You know what I mean? No one ever got anywhere from constantly winning over and over and over again. People got where they are today because of failing and growing. You know what I mean? Like, stay with me here because I do have a point. It's just taken me ages to get to it because I don't really know how to explain it. But I don't know. I just think it's one of those things that it's shit, because you want to be the best version of yourself, and you can't be 24/7. You cannot be the best version of yourself. So I think if you are trying to set yourself goals this summer, please do not make your list some massive long fucking list and be like, I want to achieve this, this, and this summer, when really maybe just focus on 2 things. And then, because think about how happy you're going to be by accomplishing 2 things 100% all the way, instead of 4 things that are half-assed. You know what I mean? Like, imagine how much better you're going to feel by knowing that you did 2 things successfully instead of 4 things 50-50. You know what I mean? And like the last kind of thing that I want to talk about, which is like a little bit weird to be talking about, is that I always think that summer is the perfect time to grieve, but like to grieve the old, like the old version of yourself. Because the way that I live is I live summer to summer, because my birthday's in September, like the start of September, so it's right after summer ends. So the way I always think of myself is I'll always compare myself to last summer and how much I've grown. And I was looking back at my snap memories of this time last year and how small I am in comparison to like now, like how much I've grown. I've gone from an anxious, depressed, sad little human being to someone who's able to creatively and emotionally express themselves in front of people, and who isn't afraid to share their opinion or stand their ground. And I think a lot of us, even if you think back to this time, the day you're watching this, whatever day you're watching this, think about yourself 1 year ago and how much you've grown. And you know, grievance is one of those things that, like, you grieve like dead people, right? Obviously, but I think it's important to grieve and move on from who you were before. And I kind of think that summer is the best time to reflect upon this and to actually start doing it. And what I mean by that is, and how this kind of ties into this episode, is that we are all getting older every single day. You know, I will never be this exact same age ever again. You know, maybe if I come back in a different life, then yeah. But right now, as Harmony, I will never be the exact same age that I am right now. I will never be this exact person in this moment again, ever. No one will be. You will never be the person that you are right in this very second in time. You will never be that person again. And I think that it's important to grieve who you were, and whether you've changed because of trauma or just because you're getting older. You know, maybe you moved out, or maybe when you left high school, you're grieving your old high school self. I just think it's kind of important to recognize that you are not the same person that you were, and you never will be. And that's how it kind of ties into the summer sadness part, because summer's such a positive time, but I'm never going to be the person that I was last summer. And you're never going to be the person that you were last summer. And I think because we have so much time in the summer, you know, days are longer and summer holidays and school is easier, I feel like this is the perfect time. So let's just talk about ways that you can kind of do self-grieving, which sounds really depressing, but trust me, it's actually not that depressing, like I promise you. And like literally one of my favorite ways to grieve myself and to move on from who I once was is quite literally looking at old pictures of myself. This is why I like Snapchat memories, because it shows me exactly what I was doing a year ago, which kind of creates like a time capsule almost to see how much I've changed as a person. Because as much as I would love to hold on to and look after the younger version of myself, I also understand how toxic that can be for myself, because I went through a lot of shit when I was younger, and holding on to that isn't the best for me, because I will never be truly able to change and develop as a human being unless I let go of what has happened and of little me. That's really sad to say, isn't it? But you know what I mean. And I think the best way to do this is to honestly look at pictures of yourself and remind yourself that this person got you to where you are now. and you appreciate that and you're grateful for them and you're happy that they are successful and that they have grown into who you are today, but you can't keep on lingering on the things that you did in the past and the way that you acted in the past and that really embarrassing thing that you did a couple months ago. No one remembers it. No one remembers it now. Like, I promise you, no one does. And I think the quicker that you are to move on from that, and the quicker that you are able to kind of get over your past and project yourself into your future, the easier way it is. So I think with self-grievance, it's kind of accepting that you were there and all of that happened, allowing it to have happened, and then moving on. And what better time to do this than summer? Like, what else you doing? What else you doing in the summer? Going on holiday? Going to work? Going on a walk? You can do all of that then. I just love listening to music and looking at pictures of myself and being like, thank you for getting me where I am right now. I really appreciate it, and I really suggest that you guys do that. Find a picture of your younger self on your mum's Facebook, whatever. Look back at a picture of yourself and go, thank you for getting me where I am today. Because it honestly will help you feel better. And I think, especially if you do suffer with seasonal depression, but summer seasonal depression, I think that that activity will help you a lot. I know a lot of people call it shadow work, but you can call it whatever you want. Self-grievance, shadow work, whatever. Call it whatever you want. But I think summer is the time to reflect and move on in a positive way. But yeah, that's my little episode on summertime sadness and what I think about it and how we can kind of move from it and expand from it, and the ways that summer is good but it's also shit. And I hope you guys kind of took something from this. I know it's a bit of a random episode, but this is something that I wanted to talk about. This combined a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about into just one shorter episode, because obviously the last episode was really fucking long. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And make sure you guys keep on checking out my Instagram for help with the current themes. I think I have a theme for next week, but I'm not gonna reveal any surprises because why would I do that? That eliminates all of the fun. But I hope you guys are having a good week. At least I hope you're resting, because if you're anything like me, if you're studying at the same school as me right now, I know school is kicking our ass. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night or morning, whatever, whenever you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening to this 10 years in the future, who fucking knows. And I will see you guys for the next episode. Thank you.